Something strange is happening in the bond market right now, and almost nobody in mainstream finance is talking about it. Central banks around the world, Japan, China, Saudi Arabia, have been quietly dumping U.S. Treasuries for the past 2 years. We covered that story on this channel, and it became one of our most watched videos ever. But here's the question nobody asked after that video. If central banks are selling, who's buying? Because someone has to buy that debt. The U.S. government doesn't stop issuing treasuries just because foreign central banks stop buying. That $33 trillion debt machine keeps printing. And when I dug into the data, I found one name showing up again and again: BlackRock. Not buying quietly out of charity, buying strategically, positioning. And when BlackRock positions, retail investors are usually the last to find out. Today I'm going to show you exactly what BlackRock is doing, why they're doing it now, and, most importantly, what it means for your portfolio before this plays out. Let's quickly recap what's been happening because context matters here. For decades, foreign central banks, especially China and Japan, were the biggest buyers of U.S. Treasury bonds. They would take their export dollars, park them in treasuries, and essentially fund American debt. That relationship is fracturing. China has reduced its treasury holdings from over $1.3 trillion to roughly $760 billion over the past several years. Japan, which is dealing with its own currency crisis, has been quietly trimming too. And it's not just Asia. Saudi Arabia, once a reliable petrodollar recycler into U.S. bonds, has been redirecting capital into domestic infrastructure and, if you've been watching this channel, into gold. So the pool of foreign official buyers is shrinking. That's just the reality. Now here's why that matters for you. When demand for treasuries falls, the government has to attract buyers some other way. Usually that means higher yields, meaning higher interest rates, which ripples into mortgages, car loans, credit cards, and stock valuations. This is the structural shift that most investors don't see coming until it's already repriced their portfolio. So who stepped into the vacuum? BlackRock manages over $10 trillion in assets. They run the iShares Bond ETF empire, the largest fixed income ETF platform on the planet. When they make a structural shift in how they're allocating to treasuries, it moves markets. In late 2024 and into 2025, BlackRock's fixed income team started publishing research arguing that long-duration treasuries were undervalued relative to risk. At the time, most retail investors were running from bonds, but BlackRock wasn't running, they were accumulating. Their iShares 20-plus year Treasury Bond ETF, ticker TLT, saw massive institutional inflows during periods when retail was selling. That's not a coincidence. That's smart money positioning ahead of a rate cycle. Here's the playbook. When central banks stop buying and yields spike, retail panics and sells. Institutions with longer time horizons and more capital buy at distressed prices. Then when the Fed pivots and rates fall, those long duration bonds appreciate significantly. BlackRock knows this cycle better than almost anyone. And right now, they're positioned for the back half of it. But there's a layer to this most retail investors completely miss. BlackRock isn't just a passive buyer. They are a primary dealer ecosystem participant. Their relationships with the Federal Reserve, the Treasury Department, and global sovereign wealth funds give them information flow that retail investors simply don't have access to. When the Treasury announces a bond auction, primary dealers like the banks BlackRock works with are required to bid. They absorb the supply, then they distribute it. BlackRock, through its ETFs and institutional mandates, is one of the largest end buyers of that distributed paper. So when foreign central banks step back from treasury auctions, the distribution chain shifts and BlackRock's footprint grows. And here's what makes this especially interesting right now. The yield curve has been doing something it hasn't done in years. The spread between short-term and long-term treasury yields, which was deeply inverted, is normalizing. That normalization is a signal. It tells you that smart money is moving back into long duration. They're pricing in a rate cut cycle. BlackRock's positioning in long duration treasuries isn't just about safety. It's about being early to the trade that reprices when the Fed pivots. Now let's talk about the bigger picture, because BlackRock's positioning has implications beyond just bond ETFs. When the largest asset manager in the world is systematically absorbing Treasury supply that central banks are no longer buying, that's a structural change in who holds American debt. And that matters because the motivations are completely different. A central bank holds Treasuries as a reserve asset for currency stability, for trade settlement, for political reasons. They're long-term, relatively price-insensitive holders. A financial institution like BlackRock holds Treasuries for performance, for yield, for the duration trade. They will buy aggressively when they see value, and they will sell or rotate when the trade plays out. This means the U.S. Treasury market is slowly shifting from long-term strategic holders to shorter-term performance-driven holders. That changes the volatility profile of the entire bond market. Think of it this way. If you replace, now here's something I didn't expect to find when I started researching this story. BlackRock isn't just buying Treasuries. They've simultaneously been the largest accumulator of Bitcoin through their IBIT ETF, the iShares Bitcoin Trust, which has already crossed $50 billion in assets under management and keeps growing. Why does that matter in a story about Treasuries? Because it reveals the strategic logic. BlackRock isn't making a bet on one asset. They're hedging both sides of the macro trade. If the Fed successfully cuts rates and the dollar holds, long-duration Treasuries win. If the Fed loses control of inflation or the dollar weakens structurally, Bitcoin wins. They're not picking one, they're buying both. Because they don't need to predict exactly how this plays out, they just need to be positioned before retail figures it out. And retail is still arguing about whether Bitcoin is real money and whether bonds are dead. Smart money doesn't argue. Smart money positions this: a family that's lived in a house for 30 years with a house flipper. The neighborhood changes, the stability changes, and the price action changes. That's what's happening in the Treasury market at a multi-trillion-dollar scale. So what does this mean for your portfolio? Let me be specific. First, if you've been avoiding bonds because rates are high, understand that you may be thinking about this backwards. When rates fall, which is the trade BlackRock is positioning for, bond prices rise. Specifically, long-duration bonds can move significantly. I'm not telling you to go all in on TLT tomorrow. I'm telling you that the smart money has already been quietly building a position that retail hasn't noticed yet. That's a signal worth understanding. Second, watch the yield curve. Specifically, watch the 2-year to 10-year spread. When that spread goes positive, meaning 10-year yields move above 2-year yields, that's historically been a leading indicator of a rate cut cycle playing out. We're approaching that moment. Third, Bitcoin's role in this setup is real. BlackRock didn't build a $50 billion Bitcoin ETF on a whim. They built it because institutions are quietly allocating. The question for you is whether you're positioned in Bitcoin before the next institutional wave pushes prices higher or after. None of this is financial advice. I don't know your situation, but I do know that when the largest asset manager in the world is positioning in both long-duration Treasuries and Bitcoin simultaneously, that's not a coincidence. That's a thesis. That's in the data. BlackRock is quietly absorbing that supply in long-duration Treasuries while simultaneously building the largest Bitcoin ETF ever created. The yield curve is normalizing, which is how the bond market signals an incoming rate cut cycle. Retail investors are still reacting to headlines. Smart money is positioning for the cycle. The question isn't whether this transition is happening. It is happening. The question is whether you understand it early enough to do something about it, or whether you find out after it's already priced in. If you want to keep tracking where smart money is actually moving before it makes the news, make sure you're subscribed. Every week I dig into these structural flows and translate them into something you can actually use. And if this video gave you a new way to think about bonds, Bitcoin, or BlackRock's positioning, drop a comment below. Tell me what you'd like me to dig into next. I'll see you in the next one.